this morning, I'm joined by Samuel Nete George. He is Member of Parliament elect for Ningo Pram. Very shortly, we'll be joined by Andy Appiah-Kubi, who is Member of Parliament for Asante Achim North. Sam, good morning. It's good to have you. And congratulations to you and congratulations to your party. How have you felt in the last few days? Humbled.
Extremely humbled, both on a personal level and as a party as well. It's said that normally politicians diminish as the longer they stay. You know, so your votes keep dropping as you stay longer in office. But it looks like I'm humbled by, first and foremost, the grace of God upon my life, and then secondly, the love the people of Ningo Pram showed to me. I've moved from 64% in my first election in 2016 to 69% in 2020, and now 77%. It seems like it's a growth, and I can only thank the people of Ningo Pram. Now, when you come to the national level, you also realize that what's happened in this election has never happened before. It's humbling that the Ghanaian people can give such an emphatic victory to a political party. 2/3 of parliament. It never happened before. A margin of over 1.6 million. People thought 1 million in 2016 was, in fact, it wasn't even 1 million in 2016, almost 1 million. Now you have over 1.6 million. I think that it is a vote of utmost trust and confidence in the NDC. And it must humble us to realize that the Ghanaian people may be slow to anger, but when they rise in anger, you can't stand in their way. It must humble us to know that we need to focus our energies to delivering on the aspirations of the Ghanaian people.
Okay.
The Ghanaian people have given us such a margin of victory that we will have no excuse not to deliver. And so for me, it humbles me because the weight of the pressure, the weight of the expectation is something we cannot joke with. It's something we cannot run away from. That the young people of our country, the old people of our country, everyone is looking up to the NDC to deliver the Ghana, to reset this country for them. And so I honestly believe that for me, it's put me in a very pensive and reflective mood. What our next steps must be. We must hit the ground running. I'm happy GM has stated that he will form his cabinet in 14 days, and before the end of January, he would set up the whole government machinery. We do not have the time or luxury to wait. I believe that in the first budget, our 120-day promise, the social contract that he signed with the Ghanaian people in Wideba, must be adhered to. Things like the bet tax, the COVID levy, emissions levy, those things must go in the first budget. We must have a government that is lean, less than 60 ministers or maximum 60 ministers. We must, for me, I believe that one of the reasons the Ghanaian people voted for us is for us to prosecute, not witch hunt, but prosecute everyone who has raped the purse. You know, I always say, I've been saying to a few friends that people say that politicians steal from the public purse. The Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia government did not steal from the public purse. They stole the purse. They stole the purse, and we need to go after them, retrieve that purse, and make sure that those who have stolen from the Ghanaian people, the ordinary taxpayer, those who have taken from pensioners, those who have taken from our elderly folks, taking from the children of our country, stolen their inheritance. We must retrieve those monies with alacrity. We must ensure that they face justice, and we must put the national resource to good use. And so I honestly believe that the weight of expectation on us must humble us and focus our minds on delivering for the people of our country.
Okay, Sam, let's also welcome the NP for Asante Achim North, Andy Appiah-Kubi. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, well, I thank you for bringing me here. If I have a minute, let me just take off from where Sam is living. And I want to hold him to the words as given that the weight of expectation should humble you and make you focus on the assignment before you. I also want to support your plea that let us prosecute rather than persecute. These two statements are legendary. I commend you.
Okay.
But going forward, let us also not be unnecessarily speculative. Let's look for evidence and do what is necessary, rather than just throwing about allegations. Let's be careful so that we can manage the evidence that we have.
We will get there. We will get there, Andy. We will certainly get there. But Sam, let me come back to you. You know, you talk about how humbling the win both at the constituency level and the national level have been. But NPP supporters say that you didn't win the election because Ghanaians love you so much. Their supporters just didn't come out to vote.
I mean, look, let's give respect to the Ghanaian people. I think that for those who are saying that it's sour grapes, there are 7 stages of denial. Let's say they are on the 3rd stage. They will finally get to the place where they realize that Ghanaians came out to vote against them. Look, there's been a lot of vote padding that has happened in previous elections. There's been a lot of antics that have been deployed in some regions to ensure that numbers appeared to be so wide, margins appeared to be so wide. The vigilance that we deployed this time prevented a lot of those vote paddings and ballot stuffing from happening. And so it's not just about numbers not showing up, it's about the ghost not showing up, the ghost who normally vote for our brothers in the NPP. Look, I'm not going to give a lot of energy and time to whether people came out to vote, their people came out to vote or not coming out to vote. If their people did not come out to vote, then it was a protest against the bad governance. And look, if their own supporters are protesting against their level of governance, I think that in itself is enough to show that they needed to be kicked out of government. For me, it is if 2 people came out to vote, they would elect a leader for us. And that leader is saddled with the responsibility of governing the country. I am not going to engage the NPP and those who are crying over spilled milk and sour grapes in saying, debating the numbers. That's not what Ghanaians voted for. What Ghanaians are interested in now is not in whether NPP people came out to vote or not. They're interested in us ensuring that we stabilize the currency, in ensuring that there's a better standard of living, in ensuring that prices of goods are stabilized on the market, and that you're not constantly seeing the daily increases in basic staple items for households, ensuring that households are able to have a disposable income again. In the last 4 years, disposable incomes have been wiped out. Many families are living below the poverty line. I mean, in 2022 alone, over 800,000 Ghanaians went below the poverty line. That's unconscionable, and I believe that we need to exhibit and show the modesty that the Ghanaian people are demanding of us. We can't have a president flying like an Arabian king in chartered flights over 17,000 pounds. We cannot have members of President Mahama's government have their wives get contracts to feed people for 30 days at the All Africa Games and pay them exorbitant amounts of money. We cannot have the hijack of state property and hand it over to family members of the president. That will not happen. And some of us will continue our crusade of accountability even under this government, even though our party is in government. If there is anybody, and I'm happy President Mahama sounded that notice and caution yesterday. He said that, look, if you think that you're coming in to come and make money, stay in the private sector and do business with his government, but don't come into the government. And so, look, we need to, I'm not going to shield any member of the NDC who would engage in any acts of corruption. My fidelity is to the Ghanaian people. And I believe that that's the fidelity of President Mahama, is to the Ghanaian people. We understand, like I keep saying, I believe, and I've had the opportunity to talk with President Mahama, he understands the weight of expectation upon his shoulders, and he knows that his message of reset is what the Ghanaian people want. They want this country reset. They want it put on the right track for us to take off again. And I think that's what we should focus on, not on the anecdotal issues of whether people came out from a political party to vote or not. I mean, if people in that political party didn't come out to vote, that in itself should be a cause for introspection for that party.
All right. Before you come in, let's listen to John Dramani Mahama when he said what Sam just said, that if you want to make money, stay in the private sector and make your money, and not in this government.
I just want to thank the people of Ghana for the overwhelming endorsement they've given us. I think that the people of Ghana realize the enormity of challenge the next government is going to face. And I think that that's why they've given us this stamp of authority to be able to take the bold decisions that will turn our economy around and put our country back on its feet. And so I went through you to express my appreciation to all Ghanaians for what they've done. But it also puts a responsibility on our shoulders to work assiduously for the people. It shows us that Ghanaians are slow to react, but when they have had enough, they will punish you if you don't work in their interest. And so I make it a reminder to all those who are aspiring to work in the new government that it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be business as usual, it's going to be hard work. And so if people are not prepared to work hard and to sacrifice for Ghana, then they better stay in the private sector and stay wherever they are. I wish to assure my father and our fathers that we're not going to misuse the majority we have in Parliament. Even though we have a huge majority, more than 2/3, we're not going to misuse it. We're going to consult with the minority at every stage and make sure that we do things by consensus instead of railroading everybody. Everybody knows that I'm a typical diplomat and a Democrat. And so I believe in GHOne, I believe in consensus building, and I believe in democracy.
Right, so that's President-elect John Dramani Mahama. I'm in the studio with Samuel Nete George. He's Member of Parliament and, of course, Member of Parliament-elect for Ningo Pram, and Andy Appiah-Kubi, he's MP for Asante-Achim North. Let me come to you now, Andy. Before we get into, you get to respond to what Sam said. What happened to you in your constituency? Because I came to your constituency.
Did you?
Weeks before the elections. Yes, I did. We extended an invitation to you. You didn't show up. No, we did. We wrote to your office. You didn't come.
I did not receive any invitation.
You did not?
No.
That's quite unfortunate. But I know that we reached out to your office. Then your people didn't give you the invitation. But these votes, 8,933 votes, as a two-term member of Parliament, as against an independent candidate who obtained over 26,000 votes. In fact, 26,926 votes. What happened?
I'm not complaining about figures. I'm not the one to do the calculations. As it happened, I'm not complaining about any rigging or anything. These are the figures that we have. And I want to believe that this is the expression of the electorate. So I'm not complaining. I lost the election to another candidate. And that's as far as I know, and that's what I believe, and that's what I've accepted. So the issue is going forward. But
something must have accounted for that loss.
Let's see a better candidate emerge from the constituency. That's all that is important.
You're not running again?
I'm not running again.
Why?
We'll finish with the election.
In 2028?
2028 is not here, and I'm not doing it. President Mahama just said that if you want to make money, do it in private sector. Probably I have to take that advice and do my money in the private sector. So that is my preoccupation now.
Do you agree to Sam George and the many people that vote, what reflected in your constituency, just as we saw at the national level, is a reflection of how angry the people are?
You see, in my personal circumstance, situations might be different, but I'm not complaining.
What are the situations? We want to understand.
You see, somebody comes from nowhere, he comes to file, to contest, he does so. He is able to unseat me with those numbers. As far as I'm concerned, matter is closed. So whoever would have done anything, I'm not complaining. If God didn't allow them, they wouldn't have done it. So let's go on, move on from there. I have no regrets having contested. I have no regrets having done what I've done in the past. I have no regrets the results that I'm getting, but I'm learning a lot from it.
But this candidate who won said that he knows you. In fact, you promised him that you were not going to run this year.
I don't like people who lie. Where was the meeting? And how, why, and what happened? I don't like people who lie.
He said he even gave you $200.
He gave me $200. You see, am I that cheap? I don't want to go into those things. For him to, does he respect me at all? To give me $200 to do what? You understand? I am not poor. Try, please. But I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. I'm a lawyer in good standing. If I knew that, I would have brought to you the transaction that I'm doing right now for you to see the numbers. $200.
As a support.
Please.
But did you promise that?
Are you not sure that people contribute in diverse ways to political institutions and political parties and things like that, even not to your knowledge? If somebody brings T-shirts of this quantity, you may not even know how much that costs. But if you would have costed it and would have attributed it to a donation to me, that is unfortunate. You understand?
Did you promise him you were not going to run again?
No. Where was the meeting? Did I have any meeting with him?
Did you know him?
I know him. But did I have any meeting?
Is he your friend?
Promising him that he's not my friend, but he's from my constituency. But I don't think that is important. But I don't like to be confronted with lies. Did I ever tell him that if I told him, why would I run in the primaries? And if I told him, why would I even run in the general elections? In any case, if I told him, all that he needed to do was to remind me. But I'm not complaining that he contested. No, it was his civil right. He has done that. But I don't like the lies of you saying that you gave me $200. Eh? Are you sure that $200 will motivate me enough to do or not to do something? Please, I'm not that cheap.
Okay, let's come back to
and when I work, can't I make $200?
Yes, you can.
If I represent you in a matter, don't you think that you can pay me $200? In fact, this morning from here, I'm going to represent somebody in court. And are you sure that person hasn't paid me $200? And this is a contempt application that somebody has filed against my client. Are you sure he won't pay me more than $200 before I come to the court? Why do we want to reduce politics to this level?
Okay, Mr. Appiah-Kubi, let's come back to the general election. I was asking you earlier that this result...
So the questions that I put to you, please go back to him and find out from him whether he thinks $200 will be enough to motivate me into doing.
I don't think he said that. He just said he contributed to your governance in the constituency at that time.
Well, for now,
he even said he bought a certain vehicle to support the campaign.
He bought for me,
not for you, to support the NPP's campaign.
He bought a Ford to support the NPP campaign.
Yes.
So where is it?
I don't know. Did he ever?
He said he bought a Ford to support the campaign. Where is it?
And I think that if my producer ID is there, we can extract that video.
Listen. If for now,
did he?
If for now I'm going to constituency and you follow me with your vehicle, and your vehicle has any means to support a campaign, would you have bought the vehicle for me, or for the campaign, or for the party? Please, let's speak our words well.
Okay.
You're not talking to anybody that doesn't have any good understanding of what we're doing. You're talking to a practicing lawyer. And don't forget that.
All right.
So pick your words well.
Me or you?
No, whoever would have said that.
Okay, thank
but
you.
But you are communicating.
Yes,
so
and
I have to give you a response.
I'm only saying what I have been doing. I'm asking you.
I'm only giving you responses to your communication.
That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. Let's come back to the national level, the results. Some judges said, and many people have said also, in fact, we all are of the understanding that the results of this election just goes to show how angry the people are, and they have demonstrated it. From your assessment as a member of the NPP, What do you think cost you such an overwhelming defeat?
Well, I do appreciate what Sam is saying, and that's true. Because are you saying it is only the people who are angry? Most of us are also very angry. So we are angry at our own system. Our own system didn't support us, didn't work for us. So why wouldn't we be angry? Why wouldn't the public be angry? And why would certain regions not be angry also? Because sometimes we are angry at our own people, particularly our ministers and appointees of government. If, for example, you apply for something for your constituency and it's not forthcoming, nobody is even picking your calls, why wouldn't you be angry? So we are all angry. So, and that's why I'm saying that let's learn lessons from it. Because you have a minister who is your colleague in parliament, and you make application to him, you cannot even assess him. He will not even respond to your inquiries. He will not even respond to your calls. Why wouldn't you be angry? And if you have chiefs who are saying that we need this facility here also, and you are not responding to the chief's call, and you are even giving them negative responses, why wouldn't they be angry? So I understand that the anger from the people, from the voters, it's very justified. And the anger from ourselves as members of government is also justified. And you are here, you listen to 96 members of parliament saying something to our president who will not listen to us. Why would we be angry? So when the people say we are angry, so we are not voting, we should understand that and then change our ways so that they won't be angry next time and vote for us. So I have no reason to contest the position of the electorate. We have done something wrong. They have given us the opinion, period. As far as I'm concerned, this is a response to our behavior as members of government.
What behavior is that?
We have not served them well, and this is what we are saying. That we didn't serve them well, maybe we didn't respond to their calls, we didn't respond to their expectations. Our performance did not satisfy them. The way I look at it, this is how I understand it, that either they didn't vote or they voted against us is an expression of dissent. So either way, let's understand that and then change our ways so that they will not show that level of dissent again next time.
Okay. Do you agree with those who say that you lost because of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and how he handled things, the economy?
We lost because of the government, how they handled the economy. So I will not personalize, but in a particular case, I was part of a group that said that this person is not meeting our expectations. Let's change him. So in that case, I will come out to say that he is partly to blame for what he did or didn't do. But beyond that, I would say that our government did not respond to the expectations of the populace.
Okay. Sam, at least there's an admission there. That they lost because the government didn't treat the people well.
No, and even before I go to Sam, me and him were part of the team that was working on the LGBTQ something. I worked with him very closely. And when the bill was finished, why would somebody sign, for example? And you were speaking to the sensibilities of the people of Ghana. We were not speaking to British people. And the people of Ghana, we are saying that we don't want this thing. And you are using standards outside Ghana to say, oh, it may be. Oh. You see, I always say this when Professor Mills of blessed memory once was confronted with the same question, whether you support the LGBT or not. He said, emphatic no, not under my administration. And this is what I expected our leaders to do. You see, and that statement, he said, is a watchword for all of us. In Ghana, we don't want this. And let us be truthful to ourselves. I will not say because this man said this, because said or belongs to this or belongs to that. As far as I'm concerned, if the statement is legendary, we will uphold it and use it to our advantage.
All right.
No matter where it is coming from.
Okay. Sam.
So I think that the point has been made that the Ghanaian people are just unhappy. This vote is not just a vote against Bawumia. It's a vote of protest against the mismanagement of Akufo-Addo. It is a referendum. This vote was a referendum on the 8 years of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. The mismanagement, the lack of candor. I mean, you introduce a tax like e-levy. The Ghanaian people are against it, but you say you will go ahead and do it. I work in the telecom sector, in the communication space. We make presentations to government and in parliament to show that the e-levy will not achieve...
Sammy, just maybe 1 minute. You remember we were in Ho together on this e-levy thing? Two sides of parliament meeting in Ho to discuss the budget. You remember? And we had told the finance minister that this e-levy thing, and he came with, was it 3%? Yeah. We came and we told him, both sides, told him that, my friend, we cannot accommodate 3% within this economy. So for that thing at all, let's start with 1%. You remember?
But you still passed it.
Yes,
they openly were against it.
What I'm saying is, it's not only they, both sides of the house were against it.
But you passed it. You passed it.
No. That is part of the anger. You see, when the whole parliament comes together, we are saying that, well, if anything at all, you remove this tax. He says, no, we have to introduce this tax. We expect revenue stream of so. We say, okay, in that case, let's start from 1% so that it can grow into the 3 or 2%.
But Mr. Appiah-Kubi, you were in parliament that day when the law was passed.
Somebody being so
why did you not abstain?
Why did we not abstain?
You personally. Why didn't you abstain?
Look, personally, I expressed my opinion. As we are going to a meeting, maybe today, I expressed my opinion.
But on the floor, why didn't you abstain from being a part of it?
You don't know what happens in Parliament. When we are going to debate on issues, sometimes people are selected to be speakers on the day, on the subject matter.
Okay.
So if you are not selected by your leadership, you won't have the opportunity to debate. And for example, if it's a government policy, they know that you are against it, they will not select you to debate it.
Let Sam finish with this point then. Sam, yes.
The point I was making on e-levy is the fact that we all, as a country, said we didn't want e-levy. But the Nana Addo Bawumia government and Ken Ofori-Atta insisted that they would go ahead with it. And you know, the question you asked, my brother Andy, is on that day, and you see, that's a lesson for some of us in Parliament who are going to be in government, on the government side now, that it comes a time where you need to stand up and say, I disagree and I'll have my voice heard on this. That vote was subjected, the e-levy was subjected to a vote of Parliament. There was a head count. Yes, there were MPs, including Andy, on the government side, on the NPP side, who disagreed with it. But they failed to show themselves and be counted on that day to say that we're voting against the e-levy because that's what we believe in. Maybe that could have been a reason for people to have said, no, these are MPs who, even if the NPP is sinking, we will protect because they stood with the Ghanaian people. When people have to go along with the tide of their party and say that, well, yes, we disagree, but we'll vote with the party, you then begin to have a situation where you are unable to justify excluding you from receiving the brunt of the anger that people are. And you know, for me, it is the disrespect the NPP showed, especially the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration showed to Ghanaians. After passing the e-levy, you had Samira Bawumia and Chairman Samboso and Co. go to a party with an e-levy cake baked, cutting the cake and dancing to it. It was like spiting Ghanaians in the face. Why? You know, it is this insensitivity to the wills and demands of the people. The NPP had become literally tone deaf to what the Ghanaian people were saying. Look, we kept talking about
Sam, hold on for me. I beg you, hold on for me. Let's cross over to the police training center. My colleague, Obed King-Aglo, is engaging the General Secretary of the NPP.
NPP has a copy. So let's produce the copies that both parties have. If they are in tandem with each other party, then we make progress. That one too, they don't understand.
No, but they say that there are discrepancies on the figures of the Electoral Commission's pink sheet. Though the two parties have the same figures, but the figure on the Electoral Commission's pink sheet is different.
Which figures on what?
No,
on the votes or the ballot account?
No, wait. It doesn't matter whether it's ballot accounting or on the figures. The EC has altered the pink sheet after the fact in the absence of the NDC and the NPP. Are you saying that the EC's pink sheets are no longer the primary documents to be used?
The EC what happened?
No, listen. No. The principle. Hold on. You are saying to no. You must say no. Yes, I'm preventing you. Temporarily, I'm preventing you. No. Hold on.
Right. So what's the way forward? What's the way forward? What's the way forward?
Very simple. We've asked the EC to make a decision.
Which is the primary document?
For us,
which is the primary
document? Hold on. To make a decision whether they are going to continue or they are going to hold the process, so that if we have to leave, we leave. But then we cannot just be sitting there for hours.
We are waiting for the EC.
You understand? But the EC, which people are there? Are they forceful soldiers or what?
Listen.
Who is the EC?
No, listen. The EC is the Mensa, Bosmasari.
So you want the Mensa to come here?
No, they must make a definitive statement on
when they can take a decision here. They are not going to make a progress. Is there a strategy to delay the process? Because if everything that can be resolved here, you want them to call the Mensa. Then you are telling the Mensa to come and sit here and make decisions.
No, but they said listen. The EC's pink sheet must be the primary document. But if we cannot trust the primary document, then how do we continue?
You have a problem with the primary document. Yes. When we started the process, there were some polling stations that the EC pin sheet, your task went to take it away, and they didn't have it, and they relied on your pin sheet or our pin sheet to make progress. So if you feel that they have an issue with the EC pin sheet, both parties have a pin sheet. So let's look at it and make progress.
What's your position now?
You want the coalition to continue with both parties' pin sheet?
Pin sheet. I think that is why we give you a copy, because it is possible that as similar institution, some pin sheet can be misplaced. Some people can even tamper with it. That's why we give copies. So at the end of the day, but how about those who want to distract EC pin sheet? So that is why both parties have a copy. So let's look at our copies. If our copy is different from your copy, then you have a serious case. But if our copies are the same, what lies the argument? Why should store this process?
We must hear from the Electoral Commission here. Serwaa, just gone by was the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justin Kodia Frimpong, who have been engaging in a heated argument with members of the National Democratic Congress in the Nsawam Aduejiri constituency over some discrepancies on some pink sheets that are on the Electoral Commission figures. But strange enough, both political parties have the same figures on these pink sheets, and that has been brewing tension and confusion here. Let's try and engage the Electoral Commission, who is in charge here at the station. I think they are going into a caucus meeting with the candidate, the representatives, and so we will still engage some more persons who are representing the NDC about the issue. Let's draw closer to the deputy youth organizer of the NDC about the whole issue. You are welcome to GHOne TV.
Thank you, Senior.
We see that the Electoral Commission is in caucus meeting with the parties.
Yes.
What's the way forward for you, the NDC?
A decision. We are having a discussion so that we can arrive at a decision. But first of all, we need people to understand the fundamental issues that we are raising, so that it doesn't look like we are the ones fomenting trouble. Now, the pink sheet, as we all know, is what is the statement of poll. That is the evidence that polls have actually taken place.
That's the fundamental document.
Exactly. Now, after the election, copies are given to all parties. Yes. This is the NDC's copy. The NPP and other parties also have their copy. Now, the issue here is that the record on the copy here that the Electoral Commission have given us, now that they have brought their own pink sheet, they have altered the records from their end. The essence of giving somebody a duplicate document is to ensure that yes, it must tally, because the information on the original is what should be transposed on the copy. Now we are noticing these discrepancies. They are telling us to assume it's a mistake. How can I assume it's a mistake if we have gone through a process together, right, and the process has ended, right, and you later notice any issues which you want to correct, the proper thing to do is to call the parties, because the electoral commission knows the NDC. They know all the parties. So call us back and let's sit down and say, on this pink sheet we found this issue, so let us correct it to reflect the records on your duplicates. Now you surprise us with that here while we are doing collation, and they themselves and the NPP together are telling us to assume that it is a mistake and that we should work based on the copies of what the parties have. That cannot be acceptable, because we don't know the reason these pink sheets were flagged yesterday was because of these same inconsistencies. Now, if we are back here, we've sat here through the night till this morning. If we are back here and we still have to go ahead and they are telling us to use the mistakes to do collation, that cannot be acceptable. And so we are in conclave. Of course, these pink sheets will not be accepted, okay? But we are awaiting the final decision to be taken. I have to sit back and take care of our stuff, but we'll come out to the decision.
Thank you very much. So Serwaa, let me draw closer to the caucus meeting they are having with the EC official. Justin Frimpong-Kodia is speaking.
They should call the Mensa from Accra to come and wait to come and explain the situation. Okay. We agree with you. The EC is saying they have made a mistake. For you, what's the way forward?
The thing is that this is a clear evidence to show that EC is capable of changing even the results on the statement of poll. Because you see, we are relying on your documents to arrive at the results, and now the documents you are churning out have proved that the information on it is actually different from what you have given to us. So what shows that all that you have given to us all along is not different from what actually happened, because we were not able to produce some of them and we allowed it to go. This particular one that we have, in cross-checking, we realize that it is different. So what shows that the ones that we are churning out may not be different. So why do we even rely on you?
My issue is, look, okay, you are making the point that they have made a mistake. You are making the point that it's possible that there could be countless mistakes or deliberate mistakes that have been made. Fortunately enough, we have a copy. You also have a copy. So at the end of the day, let's see the copies from both parties and see whether it collaborates with what the EC has done or not. Where even if you don't have a copy and you still don't trust the EC, we can flag that one. But where the two parties have a copy, why should we still delay?
We have recorded a number of them that we do not have. We have if you are ready that we should flag the ones that we do not have. That one we accept it. If you want us to flag the ones that we do not have, fine.
Let me make this last explanation. The work we are doing here, it is in our domain to correct any genuine mistake.
So that's my colleague Obed Kingaglo reporting from the Police Training Center in Testalo, where collation of some results are ongoing from the Eastern region. Currently, what is in contest is the Nsawam Adwajiri constituency, where it has Frank Anodompere as Member of Parliament. Well, back here in the studio, I'm here with Sam George and Andy Appiah-Kubi. Sam, sorry about that rude interruption. Let's go back to what we're talking about. You're talking about the e-levy, even though I would want you to comment on this later, but you were talking about the e-levy.
Yeah, I actually moved on to another example, the COVID levy.
Right, okay.
That we kept speaking about. Look, even China, Wuhan, where the COVID virus broke out from, you no longer have them charging a COVID levy. So why are we being asked to pay a COVID levy? But nobody would listen. You know, like I said, they had become tone deaf. They thought that every sound of caution that we gave was partisan criticism, and they won't listen. And I believe that and that's why I started this whole conversation by saying that for me this victory is humbling. We must learn from it and learn to listen to the Ghanaian people, learn to communicate with the Ghanaian people, and learn to represent the aspirations of the Ghanaian people. So I think that, look, the NPP has shown clearly that they had no regard for the Ghanaian people. A few people in government had hijacked the entire governance machinery and were only using it to enrich themselves at the expense and detriment of the Ghanaian people. And so I believe that we need to keep our focus.
So why are you looking my direction? With the emphasis you're placing on your words.
No. I'm not looking. But you weren't even in government. You weren't even in government, Andy.
He said, "Why are you looking his direction?"
I'm only asking why. Are you sending that message to me?
No. No, it's not about you. You weren't in government. The bottom line here is that, look, we need to be minded about how we take the Ghanaian people. The electorates are extremely savvy and they know what they want. And when they speak, you must listen. And so for me, look, the NPP has been abysmal. I mean, when Bawumia would look us in the face and tell us that 17 cedis to the dollar is better than 4 cedis to the dollar, I mean, you take us for fools. You think that it is Agbilima that is in our heads? Absolutely not. You know, and so the Ghanaian people have shown him that they have brain and not Agbilima in their heads. And so, you know, the NPP had gotten to a place where they needed to be disciplined the way they have been disciplined for them to understand that Ghanaians are not fools, you know. And again, I keep repeating, it is a lesson the NDC must learn in government. We must learn to be modest. We must learn to be reactive and responsive to the desires and aspirations of the Ghanaian people. And we must learn to make sure that our governance represents our promises to the Ghanaian people.
Mr. Appiah-Kubi, do you believe in the administration of the NDC under John Dramani Mahama?
Well, they have a challenge. The good people of Ghana have given them the mandate. And it is our hope that they will exercise that mandate to the benefit of all Ghanaians, to the admiration of all Ghanaians. For me personally, I don't know an NDC government and an NPP government. We have one Ghanaian government. So once the NDC team has been selected, it represents the government of Ghana. And our prayers must be with them. And they should also listen to all of us. Indeed, if they consider us as members of the opposition party, so would it be, but they should listen to us because we still are part of the Ghanaian population. Listen to us and let's do less politicking. At the point where we have a government in place, let's all put ideas, put forth our experiences and our capacities to their use so that we can have a better Ghana. It is always the case that when one party wins power, whatever competence in the other party is ignored. That has not worked for us. So let's see people in other parties also contribute ideas to for the betterment of country Ghana. I am a Ghanaian supporter. So for now, I have a Ghanaian government and we have to work to support the Ghanaian government. Let us not be seen to be saying that because it is not my party in office, I will not support the initiatives they bring. Let us be seen to be working together at all times. If NPP is in power, I expect the NDC also to be working with me. And in fact, in Parliament, it's only outside Parliament that you see people behaving as if we are from different mothers. We are the same. If we come to Parliament, we do things all the same. We all work together. Indeed, where we even disagree, we discuss it behind closed doors in our disagreements. And in all cases, we have a direction which is hybrid that we want to go. Except that Parliament is treated as an extension of the executive. So the executive brings something, they expect it to go the way it came. And this is how, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be part of this the next Parliament. It is one thing that I wanted to ensure, that the independence of Parliament, so that anything that comes to Parliament, Parliament must add value to it before it passes as an act of Parliament. Otherwise, Parliament will be reduced to an extension of the executive office. And that has not worked for us. And we started thinking about this, that we want Parliament to elect its own leaders. It is important that Parliament elects its own leaders. If people have been voted for by people outside government, the whole population voting for you to come into Parliament, and somebody sitting outside Parliament will determine who will be your leaders. When you come to Parliament, you don't have the capacity to determine who your leaders should be, and we will accept this situation as normal. It is not. So some of these things I was going to work against the status quo because it hasn't worked for us. And again, we need to bridge the gap between the minority majority. Let's be seen to be supporting the enterprise Ghana rather than supporting our partisan positions. These are some of the things. And indeed, some when I entered, giving the rundown to the issues to be discussed, was mentioning the distribution of state property. I'm very much in tune with him, and I'm very much in support of a call that state property must remain state property. If at all we need to distribute state property, it must be distributed according to law. For example, the lands that are in issue, if the purpose of acquisition fails, let the lands return to the pre-acquisition owner. Simple. Or let us continue to retain it for public purpose. But the way we do it, that politicians will go for such lands for a pittance, I disagree, totally disagree. And I think that it's an issue that we need to also address, how to treat landowners in Ghana. Let me tell you, Serwaa, if for purpose of agriculture, you acquire land from a chief or a traditional authority, in consideration of the public interest and in consideration of the land use, I may determine that take it for free or give me some little compensation to appease my people. Then you hold the land in 10 years, 20 years. You convert the land use into commercial use, and you don't go back to the grantor. You think that it has been acquired publicly either by way of Article 20, compulsory acquisition, or whatever form of acquisition. If land use changes, values changes. So you have to go back to the landowner or give it back, because I bought it or I acquired it for this particular purpose. I no longer need it for this purpose. So then have your land back, so that you can rather benefit from your land by way of the land changing land use. But all these things are not happening. Some mentioned it. That's why I want to emphasize and explain.
Okay.
It's important that we look at land administration in Ghana.
Okay.
In particular reference to public lands.
Okay, Sam, let me come back to you. There are many who have expressed, uncertainty about how this administration is going to be. A new government under John Dramani Mahama, they say that, for instance, you promise oral going, for persons who have cost the country financial loss. But it's not the first time you're making such a promise. You couldn't fulfill it then, but you're saying that you'll be able to do it now. They're questioning that. They're also questioning if you'll be able to deliver in the manner in which you have made the Ghanaian people feel that you will.
Okay, for the records, we've never promised oral.
I mean, not oral in its sense, but
fighting corruption.
Fighting corruption.
We have fought corruption under President Mahama, his first term, when there were issues about bus branding brought up. He caused the recovery of money that was paid by the state to the private company and asked the minister to resign. Under President Mahama, when Victoria Hama did not even acquire, suggested the acquisition or an intention to acquire $1 million, she was sacked from office. Under President Mahama, when there was news or reports or suggestions of malfeasance at the National Service Secretariat, he caused the BNI to investigate it and caused the prosecution of 144 people. When Brazil happened, he set up a commission to investigate it, and a minister was removed from office. So, I mean, there is a clear marked difference between President Mahama, his fight against corruption under his first term. In fact, President Mahama caused, under YEA, JIDA, caused the prosecution of his former colleague and very good friend in Parliament, Abu Gapeli, and the jailing of Abu Gapeli, who at the time was a member of the NDC government. So, President Mahama has a completely different track record compared to Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. Akufo-Addo and Bawumia.
I always tell you, you point at me when you want to mention other names. I am not called Akufo-Addo or Bawumia.
Sam, I ask you this because I ask you that question about the oral because you recall in 2008 when the NDC won, you said and made many promises that there were going to be prosecution of persons who caused financial loss. But we remember that, for instance, Asabi and his wife were stopped from boarding a plane They were arrested, but you couldn't go through with a single prosecution.
Okay, so again, Serwaa, that was the Mills administration. You had the Father for All policy, and on that one, we've stated emphatically, say, Father for All, there's not going to be Father for All. 1. 2, let's put on record that the Mills administration carried out about 35 prosecutions. But you had a judiciary that literally shielded appointees of the former government. And that's why one of the first things the president must do, President Mahama must do, is to purge our current judiciary. Clean out the judiciary of party activists. That's the very first thing he must do in 120 days. People sitting in the current judicial setup who are more than national executives of the NPP, who are simply there to protect the looters in this current government, must go with this government. The Ghanaian people demand that of President Mahama, and we would insist that he does that. Else President Mahama will have rebellion from within. Because you cannot have proper prosecution of, in quotes, the thieves in government, those who have stolen from the Ghanaian people, with the current setup at the courts, where you have people in the courts who are so partisan that even in their churches, they are angry with people who simply try to prosecute people in this government. There are people in the current court system today who go to the same church with Kisi Ejabeng and don't talk to Kisi Ejabeng because they think Kisi Ejabeng, as special prosecutor, is prosecuting NPP people. And these people are sitting in the courts today. Such people cannot remain in our court system. They can't be in our courts. They have no business there because they are no longer dispensing justice, but they are partisan players wearing judicial robes. You understand me? So we need to purge the judiciary and then go and do proper prosecution. I repeat, not persecution, but prosecution. And there's been forensic audits already underway. That's what I can tell you. Yes. So look, oral will happen. If oral doesn't happen, President Mahama himself would face the wrath of the Ghanaian people. That one, nobody can protect him because the buck stops with him. He promised oral. We need to make sure that we set an example, because if we
But do you have the evidence to back all of this?
Serwaa, there is more than enough evidence. Look, in these last few days, persons, and I'm saying this so that they know we know, persons who are moving and transferring monies to the Isle of Man, to Mauritius, to Guyana, we have the money trails already.
So what will you allow them?
You understand? Oh no, currently, Andy.
No, the bank
Andy, we are not in government today.
But
we are still not in government. But no, you can't block. Andy, we don't control the levels of government today.
Let me finish.
But I'm letting those people know that we know.
Who are those people?
Oh, Serwaa, the prosecution will start. You know, when President Mahama came to my constituency, go and take, and I'm sure your cameras were there.
Yes.
Go and take his comments he made. The comments President Mahama made. He did 3 stops in my constituency. He did Old Ningo, he did Prampram and Afienya. In Prampram, he mentioned names. He mentioned names of people who have questions to answer. He mentioned the president himself. He mentioned Gabi Ochidaku. He mentioned Kenu Foriata. The president was clear, and Asante Bedio too. The President Mahama mentioned those names in my constituency. And it's not going to be limited to just those people. People have questions to answer. We will have lifestyle audits. People who were flying economy, who today are buying hotels after 6 years in government. Serwaa.
They're buying hotels. We're in Ghana here.
Here in Ghana. Who owns Holiday Inn now?
Who does?
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Please tell us. I think that we want to know.
Serwaa,
who owns Holiday Inn?
We will take over government in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. The prosecutions will start. The prosecutions will start. They are not going to be persecutions. People will have to explain the sources of their wealth. You understand?
But we don't have a law like that here.
Oh, who says you don't?
And Andy Appiah-Kubi, you're a lawyer. Do we have a law that allows people to explain their source of wealth?
Of course.
Do we?
Yes.
Oh, we do.
We do.
But that's with the Financial Management Act,
yes.
Right?
And again, if you suspect misapplication of state resources, Article 41, is it GHOne, gives you the mandate to be close to your capacity to go to court.
Okay.
To protect state
property. That's state property. Yes. But what about my personal?
He's complaining about looting.
Please
looting state property to acquire private property.
Private property.
Yes.
Okay.
We will get there. We will trace all of that.
So,
look, people, those who flew to Mauritius 3 months ago.
I can read it. I can find it. So I mean, just by way of education, if only on suspicion that it's a state money that was used to acquire those personal property, right?
So wait.
Yes, if you are suspecting any misapplication of state funds of state property, Article 41F will close your capacity to go to civil court and demand to protect the state property. So the action becomes actionable immediately. You have the information, the evidence.
But
don't forget that the name of the game
is evidence.
Yes.
Okay, but Andy, quickly, please, as a lawyer, can you just handpick someone and want to investigate their lifestyle?
No,
we have laws backing that.
We have institutions that can invite you to.
Right.
Because you are supposed to declare your assets
to the coming. All of these appointees declared assets when they took over office.
Okay.
You can ask the court.
Assuming the Yoko invited you that we are suspicious of this progression, please can you explain? The law is there for them to invite you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so in all cases, but again, and again, evidence.
So you think they don't have evidence?
No, I'm not suggesting that.
But Andy, are there people in you? I mean, because he's mentioned 4 names already that President Mahama has listed. Do you have cause to believe that there are members in your government?
I'm not privy to the information President Mahama has, but assuming he has the evidence, nothing will stop him from prosecuting the cases. But I don't have. But you cannot. 1 million allegations will not constitute evidence. Let's not forget. But before I even sign off, I wanted to also advise my good friend Sami to be careful the way generally he's giving statements purporting to indicate corruption even within the judiciary. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I'm saying that if you know a situation and you have evidence to that effect, please just single it out and come out to prove your case. But
he has promised that that's going to be happening.
We will. But generally attacking the judiciary.
No, I have not attacked the judiciary. So I have said no, Andy, please, respectfully. I have not attacked the judiciary. I have attacked persons in the judiciary.
Who are
I
these
said
persons?
there are persons in the judiciary who have become so partisan in their dispensation of justice. I have not said the judiciary has become partisan. There are 2 different things. The judiciary is an institution. There are persons who make up that institution. And if some persons in the institution, and I've given an example of one such person.
Did you give anybody's name?
No, I gave an example of one such person, and the person knows. The person knows that I'm talking about the person.
Who is
I don't want to mention the person's gender. No. How many people? No, wait.
No, if it's Appiah-Kubi, mention Appiah.
No, wait. How many people in the judiciary go to church with Kusi Ejabeng, the OSP?
But we don't know who goes.
So I'm saying the person in the judiciary who goes to church with him, who is angry with him, knows that that's the person I'm talking to. I don't want to say whether it's a he or she.
How did you get this information?
It is still speculation.
The lawyer says it's speculation. Well, Sam has a very good idea of the law.
On social media, I've been greeting people in the judiciary of late. Go on my social media.
You've been greeting them?
Yes, I've been sending them greetings.
Okay.
Who are you sending?
Let me on your Twitter.
Go to Twitter and Facebook. I've been greeting people.
Because you want them to.
Because I don't have an issue with you. Why you want me to greet you?
Am I not your friend?
No, you are my friend. I'll greet you. The people I'm saying good evening to should know that they have questions to answer.
So I'm going on this page to see if I can find the names of the people.
So you send good morning to me, it means you are after me. Yes.
So is it?
Andy, are you afraid of something? Because anytime he speaks and looks your direction, you are worried. Now you say he is greeting you.
He mistakes me for other people, and I'm not comfortable with that.
So Sam George has greeted yesterday the Chief Justice Good evening, Chief Justice of Ghana, Gertrude Araba Isaba Saki.
I want to beg to take leave of you now.
No, hold on. Please. Please. He has
lead
just,
me not into any temptation.
That's also that's a greeting there. Sam, does that mean that is one of the people that you are targeting?
No, she's fufu.
No. You are speaking English. Speak it.
I said she shouldn't drink the soup whilst they are still pounding the fufu. 3 weeks is a very short period. But Serwaa, look, our country needs purge. And you know, another word for purge is reset. To reset, you need to clear and clean up the system. And we will do that.
Okay, Andy, your final comments before you go.
My final comments. Let's look at Ghana as the only place we have.
Yes.
And let's all work towards improving the situation in Ghana. I am not comfortable when people are being handpicked. But if you have evidence to support any claim, the laws are there to offer you the platform to do your legal gymnastics. So I encourage him, as long as you have evidence. I don't want people being cited for contempt, and I don't want to see.
Well, you are a lawyer. You earn more than $200 when that happens.
Civil suits for defamation and the like. So my only advice is that make sure you are equipped with the necessary evidence.
Okay.
Then you can prefer your charges and then continue.
Okay, finally, I know you speak on that.
Let me also tell you, Serwaa, for your information, $200 for me to appear to
that was just by the way, please.
Enough.
That was just by the way. I said more than that.
Yes, it will not be enough to bring
more than that. More than that. But lawyer, what form of cleansing should the the NPP pursue? What should it do? Would you require the setting up of a committee?
To go back into a drawing board and find out why the whys and
clearance of the executives. Do you agree to that?
Well, sometimes it's not only just the clearance, but it is the philosophy of living. We have to establish a new philosophy. You see, when people become too pompous because of power, you see, it may not necessarily be somebody in opposition or in position or in government, but people become too pompous with power and misapply, misuse public space and public funds, public property and the like. Yes, we need to grow away from such. We need to see that, as some were saying, you don't make money in government. Let's make money in the private sector. Personally, I declined an application because I thought it was unwholesome. And I got punished for that. But I'm happy that I was punished because...
that's your post.
I was happy that...
Is it?
That's your post from yesterday on the screen.
You guys being mischievous. What has
Serwaa
to do?
You said you've been greeting people. We are projecting it.
So
do you require the setting up of a committee? Would you recommend that?
Yes, I will require a setting up of a committee. And for nothing at all, I require a setting up of a committee to investigate all public lands distribution.
By your party or by the NDC?
By everybody.
Okay.
And again, one thing I want us all to do is to review all natural resource contracts in Ghana. The way to get out of poverty is to look at what we are losing and then stop the loot. Then we can have the benefit of our natural resources. Until we do that, we sign contracts that give royalty thresholds of 3%, 4%, and maximum 5%. How do you want a country to be resourced when you are giving away your natural resources for free? So let's look at that. And I'm not saying that people who contract such concessional agreements are not knowledgeable. Some of them are mischievous.
All right,
and indeed,
thank you very much.
Some contracts are also unconscionable.
Thank you very much. Andy Appiah-Kubi is Member of Parliament for Asante Achim North, who unfortunately for him won't be returning to Parliament. Thank you for joining us. But I'm here with Sam George for a few more minutes before he takes leave of us.
I will be continuing in my practice.
Of course, all the best with that, of which you make more money than being in Parliament, no? So why were you there in the first place?
No, Parliament is a call. No,
I'm sorry.
Politics is a call. I was an SRC president.
So why are you giving up the call?
Listen. I was SRC president. I was voted for.
Okay.
I came into public office. And don't forget, I was Deputy Chief Executive of Free Zones and continued as an acting Chief Executive and even continued in other places in Africa.
All right.
And now I'm a practicing lawyer.
Okay.
And I'm very comfortable with the way I do my practice. Okay. You don't know me. That is why you are.
I know you.
You don't know me. That is why you are comfortable with the $200. You don't know me.
I know you very well.
You don't. You don't. You haven't seen me before.
I don't need to see you to know you.
If you have seen me, you wouldn't be worried about $200. Somebody giving me $200.
I didn't say that I believed it. I don't think that I have put that across. I only asked you a question.
It is not fair to be in public space and be talking about earnings and finance and properties and the like, but $200, please.
I hope that before you go, you leave here with the understanding that I ask questions. I don't force it on you. I only asked you a question because I went to your constituency with my team.
And they said that I was poor?
Not at all. Not at all. And the question, in fact, I saw your house in your constituency. It's not a house of a poor man. So I only asked questions that I heard in the constituency, and you have clarified it.
Yeah, but did you come into the house? You didn't. So how would you conclude that it's not a house of a poor person?
Thank you very much for joining us on the show. When I see a mansion, I don't need to enter the mansion to know that it is not a mansion of a poor person. So I have said it, that I know it's a mansion. Thank you very much. Sam George is Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram. Sam, before we even continue, there's a question here for you. That what seat would you like to occupy? What position, sorry, would you like to occupy in this government? In the next government?
I am the Member of Parliament.
Ministerial position.
Well, that is the prerogative of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Minister of Communication.
Again, that's the prerogative of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
If you are called to serve?
He appoints and disappoints. If I'm called to serve in his government, I will do so with all humility and to the best of my abilities. But the decision of where to serve and how to serve in the government is the sole prerogative of President Mahama. I cannot preempt or assume anything. The only position that I have today, which has been given to me and can't be taken away from me for the next 4 years, is the mandate as the Member of Parliament for the people of Ningo Prampram. And that's my preoccupation, and I intend to exercise my mandate to the fullest for the benefit of the people of Ningo Prampram.
Stay with me. We'll be back shortly. 7 a.m. I'm here with Samuel Nete George. He's Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram and also Member of Parliament elect for that constituency. Appiah-Kubi has taken leave of us. He had to go to court. But Sam says that if President John Dramani Mahama calls him to serve, he will gladly do so, even though there are speculations that he's the next Minister for Communications. And
speculations where?
On social media, within the media, we have done our checks, just like you two, you've done your checks.
Like I said, the prerogative to appoint and disappoint rests with President Mahama, and I think that we should give him room and space to make his decisions. He's made the announcement that he would announce his cabinet in 14 days of taking over office, and then his entire government will be set up by the end of, I think within 30 days or so, by the end of January. So I think let's not railroad President Mahama. He will make his decisions, and I believe that he will make the best decisions for our country.
Okay. I cannot let you go without asking you, you seem to be on a path of helping people snatch their seats. What's that about?
I'm only working for the NDC. I mean, I think it was on Tuesday, oh no, Wednesday. Today's Friday, so it was on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I noticed that there was some attempt to railroad the process in Okaikwe Central. And so I stepped in there and went there and ensured that the right thing, the will of the people of Okaikwe Central. I used to live in Okaikwe Central, I used to live in Tesano. So, I mean, that's a constituency I'm very familiar with. And so I decided to go in there and make sure that the right thing was done. And basically that's what I did. I made sure the right thing was done. And then Ablekuma North as well, Irabina Orbin. The facts were clear. Again, look, the Electoral Commission has a responsibility to declare results, and we went ahead with it. Domi Kwabinya tried to come in there, and we said we will not even entertain it because the law is clear. Once a result has been declared, and I granted an interview to CT because Samuel Tete made some comments about what happened at the regional office and all, and I said to them that Samuel Tete should take off his NPP party dress. He's supposed to be an independent electoral commissioner, you know, but the days of him doing things for the NPP are over. He sat there and allowed Bosman Asare and GHOne to come and railroad him, and now he wants to please the NPP. If that's what he wants to do, he will go with the NPP. Because for Samuel Tete to grant an interview and say that declarations done by the returning officer are illegal and that the EC will recollate, he should come and recollate and let's see. The laws are clear. CI 127 is clear. When a returning officer declares a result, only a court can overturn it. Not even GHOne can overturn it. You understand me? And so, for me, I keep saying, that's why Domi Kwabinya was not even entertained at the regional office, because the returning officer there has declared Eli Plim Akurubu as the Member of Parliament elect. In Okaikwe Central, there was no declaration until we came to the regional office. A declaration has been done. Like I said, if anybody has a challenge, they can go to court. Ablekuma North, anybody has a problem, they can go to court.
Going by that logic, why have your people mustered up at the collation center at Wejagbawe? Because there's been a declaration as well. Why don't they go to court? Because
they realized that the boxes in Wejagbawe, they were altering and trying to change the records in there. Because you see, you will go to court all the same, but the records must be kept sacrosanct. But if you then have a report that the EC has gone into the EC office to then change the figures to match what it is, because they know that when they go to court, the evidence is going to expose them, you need to stop the EC from carrying out such illegality. That's why what was done yesterday by Afenyo Market in the Fantiakwa North is null and void and will not happen. The NDC parliamentary candidate will present himself to Parliament on the 9th of the 6th and we will swear him in, and not the NPP candidate. Because you see, when the returning officer has done a declaration in Fantiakwa North, you cannot then come and call the deputy returning officer, not the returning officer, but his collation officer, to come and do another declaration. I mean, look, the days of the NPP misbehaving and persons in the NPP misbehaving is over. I've heard them say that they are going to recollate Tema Central, Ablekuma North, and Okaikwe Central. I'm using this opportunity to speak to IGP Dampare. If he wants to have peace of mind in this country, and he doesn't want the National Police Training School to become a place of chaos and bedlam, he should not even try or dare to think that they will come and do any recollation there on Tema Central, Appiah-Kubi North, and Okai-Kwe Central. Constituencies that have been declared. If the police dare, the IGP should know. He should go and take the reports, the results of all the special voting, and see where the security men he leads and the chief of defense staff, Bemakam, they should go and check and see the officers that they are bringing, how they voted. The officers voted for change. The officers voted for a reset. They voted for John Dramani Mahama. And so he shouldn't think that he's going to bring men there. Look, the things that went on there yesterday, some of them are comical. They are comical. But I'm throwing a challenge to the NPP. I'm throwing a challenge to Afinyo Market and the Electoral Commission. If they think this country belongs to them, they should try that they are going to recollate anything from Greater Accra, which is my region. They should try and see. The people from Eastern region may have allowed things to go. Greater Accra, here, that they are going to recollate Tema Central.
Are you encouraging the violence?
It's not violence. We are going to oppose oppressors and we will defend the Constitution.
But you know what that means? You means that your people are messing up and
our people will take on the security services and we will order them to do so if the security services want to subvert the Constitution. It means those security officers are enemies of our democracy and we will deal with them decisively. Any officer of the law who seeks to subvert the will of the people and the Constitution is an enemy of our democracy. Is an enemy of our democracy. So, like I said, if what you are doing is in tandem with law, if there has been no declaration of results and you are coming to do the collation, I don't have a problem. In Serwaa Medurujiri, there has been no declaration as far as I'm aware. So we will do the recollation. That's what I've said. Listen to me very clearly. I'm not saying that there should be no collation anywhere. No. In Serwaa Medurujiri, there has been no declaration. And so you need to complete the collation in accordance with law. We need to check what the records are. Do all the parties have the pink sheets? At least there are 3 parties in this election. The NDC, the NPP, and the Electoral Commission. At least 2 of them must have the records that agree before you accept it and use for collation. We will go through that. And then we would allow the EC to declare whoever has been duly elected. But I'm saying, and hear me clearly, I'm repeating for emphasis so that nobody goes to say that some judge has just gone to say anything. I'm repeating for emphasis. Tema Central, Ebi Bright has been duly declared by the returning officer. Only a court of law can order a recollation of those results. Not the Electoral Commission, not the IGP, not the Director CID. Appiah-Kubi North, a Rabina Obin has been declared MP-elect. Nobody except a court of competent jurisdiction can order for that to be redone. Okai-Kwe Central, Baba Sadiq has been declared. And I'm saying anybody who seeks to subvert the will of the people of Tema Central, the people of Appiah-Kubi North, and the people of Okai-Kwe Central, we will mass up and oppose those people because those people are enemies of our democracy. And we will discipline them decisively. That much they should prepare for it. Because the power of the people is greater than the people in power.
Does it include what appears to be you intimidating the EC officers to declare the results?
The EC officers are dead. They are alive. Call them and see if I intimidated them.
But we've seen videos where
I put my hand around him and walked with him. Because there was chaos there. The NPP people there were trying to stop him from declaring.
Okay.
In fact, they had laid hands on him. And I went and said, no. Anybody who wants to touch the EC, the returning officer will have to go through me. And so if you watch, I put my hands around him
to protect him.
Took him up to, there was a kind of stage there, made him sit there and allowed him do his collation. When he finished, we allowed him to stand in front of the media and address the media. Case closed. In the case of Appiah-Kubi North, Appiah-Kubi, the NPP parliamentary candidate, was seeking to snatch the collation sheets and molest the returning officer. Again, we said no. We will protect the EC officials. We will work with EC officials who are working in accordance with law.
All right.
So, look, Mr. Degenu is the returning officer for Okai-Kwe Central. Mr. Opon is the returning officer for Appiah-Kubi North. They are like, call them and ask them if some judge intimidated them or beat them or touched them. No. I ensured their security and safety and made sure that they were protected from the attempts of the NPP to attack them. And I'm saying that those constituencies have been completed. Roxin was in Tema Central. That was also done. We will not allow anybody to say they are going to recall it. That one there. And I've seen our party base go up. Look, I have said, and I'll repeat, rest easy. The 3 seats in Greater Accra, the NDC has 31 out of 34 seats. Anybody has a challenge, go to court.
You should say same to your party supporters in Wejagbawi, because there's been a declaration. They should go to court.
The Electoral Commission should stop attempting to change the figures on the coalition sheet.
There's been a declaration already.
Yeah, so why are they going back to change the figures? Why? What is the business of the EC in Wejagbawi? Going back, what we are doing is to prevent them from altering the evidence which we'll be using to go to court.
All right.
Exactly. And like I've said, we want peace. We want calm. But nobody should test the resolve of the NDC. We are a government in formation, no longer in waiting. We are forming government, and we would ensure that the institutions of state respect the mandate of the Ghanaian people. You understand me? And so the police will be there at Tesano. We'll be there. We'll be there today to ensure that the right thing is done.
All right.
But nobody should think that. I heard people yesterday saying that, oh, we are still in government. Yes, we are in government, but you're on your way out. We're not going to allow you misbehave.
All right. Thank you very much, Samuel Nete George.
Thank you.
He's Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram.